Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that is our Helium 10 Weekly Buzz. We give you news bits from the world of e-commerce. We have interviews with people you need to hear from in the industry, and then we give you training tips of the week that will be serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. We're going to start off today with a tip of the week. We're going to have multiple tips of the week this week, especially since it's Black Friday. It's going to be a actually condensed version of the news. We wanted to make sure you guys are spending time getting ready for Black Friday. But we do have a couple news stories, a couple coming out of Amazon about some new fees that might be down the pipeline, as well as a new way that they're kind of ensuring that accounts don't get suspended. So that's kind of interesting announcement that Amazon made last week. We have an announcement coming from Shopify. Shivali is going to come on and give us a training tip that talks about how to use listing analyzers. And then we also have an interview with Liran, who is no stranger to this show. Now, before we get into the news, I wanted to give you guys a training tip in as much as Black Friday is just a couple days away. Now, this is just something that, hopefully will help some of you who have been selling for at least a year, but something I did just a couple of days ago, and I discovered a keyword. And part of this strategy has nothing to do with Helium 10. This is just a strategy that anybody who is brand registered can take part of. Now, every now and then during special holidays, like there's certain keywords that you might get traction on that you didn't even realize were relevant. And that's exactly what happened last year. And I just discovered it this year. Now, this strategy is going to be almost a moot point for elite members who have access to our brand new Cerebro historical analytics tool, because you're going to be able to see exactly what keywords you were crushing it on throughout the year. But if you don't have elite but you do have brand registry, I would highly recommend going into your brand analytics. And then once you're there, hit the search query performance. All right. I'm still working on this as a solution, the search query performance. There's a lot of inconsistencies with the data that I want to, work out before I start, talking in depth about this tool. But what I've been using it for now is kind of like a great apples to apples comparison of time over time data. In other words, what is happening last week versus this week, or last month versus this month, etc. So what I want you guys to do is you go into search query performance. If you only have one product or two products that are all the same, just keep on the brand view here. But if you have a lot of products, or you want to get a really kind of detailed look, hit ASIN view and then select your ASIN. And then what I want you to do is you hit reporting range weekly, all right? And then select week 47 of last year, all right? So that's November 21st to November, to the 28th or 27th, I believe. All right. So select week 47, and that's basically Black Friday from last year. And then what I want you to do is scroll all the way to the right under search funnel purchases, and then hit the brand share column header. What that means is you are basically sorting everything, or not brand share, I'm sorry, brand count. All right. So what you are sorting by is all of the purchases that resulted from your product or your brand, all the searches, all the keyword searches that resulted actually in a sale. All right. And then, of course, the main one should be stuff that like, for example, for our Manny's Mysterious Oddities, number 1 is coffin shelf. Number 2 is coffin bookshelf. That's like a no-brainer. But I bet you're going to find a keyword that you got a sale from that you didn't realize. And then here it is for us: pagan gifts. That's a ridiculous keyword, but hey, this thing had a lot of searches during Black Friday for some strange reason. And if you notice, we actually had a purchase from pagan gifts. Now, I had never even heard of that keyword. So what I did was I went into Keyword Tracker, and I wasn't even tracking it because, again, I had never even heard of this keyword. So I went into pagan gifts, and then I looked at organic rank, and we never showed up for this. All right. Like, we were not organic. Like, it wasn't even on Helium 10's radar, but it was on Helium 10's radar for sponsored rank. And if I look back to all time, looking back to last year, during the last couple of years, we were showing up every now and then, not very prominently, for this keyword in sponsored ads. So what did I do? I immediately went into my Atomic, and you guys can just do this in your Seller Central, and I added this as a keyword that I was targeting because we weren't showing up at all. And sure enough, right now, under Pagan Gifts, here now it's Wednesday, right before Black Friday, we are showing up on page 1. There it is right there. There's our coffin shelf. We are showing up for page 1 for this keyword. So, am I going to get a sale from this keyword? Again, who knows? But I got one last year when I didn't even realize I was ranking for it. And now this year, I'm making decisions based on what has been proven to work in the past for the same time frame. So again, guys, if you have something that's selling more than the coffin shelf, I bet you're going to find more than one word. But if you were selling last year, go do that, guys. Search Query Performance, look at last year Black Friday, and see what keywords you got some traction on. And who knows, maybe you can get some traction on it this year. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the news now. We've got a few articles, and the first one is actually coming from Amazon. All right, this article was released last week and is entitled Account Health Insurance Helps You Address Issues Without Account Deactivation. All right, so this acronym is AHA. And if you have an AHR, account health score of 250 or higher for at least 6 months, and you have a valid emergency contact number on file, what's going to happen is that if there's something that happens to your account that would normally result in a deactivation, it says an account health specialist will proactively reach out and explain what the issue is. And then if they can reach you within 72 hours and you work on this issue, your selling account will not be deactivated. Now, this is actually something, that I haven't heard too much of lately. Like, in the past, I've heard so much of too many people getting suspended just like randomly. And it seems like maybe Amazon is getting a little bit better with the suspensions that might not be completely justified or jumping to conclusions too early. But still, if you're still afraid of that happening now, hey, let's see how this works out. Will this be something that will help sellers, not be suspended prematurely? Keep an eye out on that. Take a look at your email for your main Amazon account to see if you got invited to that program. Next article here is also from Amazon, and it's an update to U.S. referral and FBA fees starting January 17th. All right. So, this is a very long article. I recommend you guys actually going into your Seller Central. It's linked to in the news section, but take a look to see if you are affected. Let me tell you what key point here that I kind of like got out of this and kind of justify one of my ideas. We were all wondering recently, like, why in the world, when Amazon is closing warehouses and stopping the purchase of new warehouses, and there's all these articles about how, oh no, e-commerce is slowing down and this and that, why did Amazon impose a lot of inventory restrictions on sellers? And some of you, I know it's affected a lot, right? So what I, speculated, I never know, I don't have any inside information on this, but I speculated, I was like, well, it makes sense that maybe, people were actually sending more inventory in, people were gearing up for more sales, or maybe there were more sales, and so Amazon did not account for that. And you kind of see that in this news article. Look at number 3 right here. It says, this year, we saw some sellers use more of our storage than we expected or believed was needed to serve our customers well, and that constrained how much product from other sellers could be sent into FBA. All right. Now, so some pessimists might say, oh, this is just an excuse or something to increase the fees, but it kind of makes sense that, I talked to a lot of sellers who just send all of their inventory into FBA, even on SKUs that they haven't really sold, because Amazon was letting them. And then, it kind of makes sense that maybe this might have meant that, the rest of us, who are doing consistent sales might have been affected. But regardless of what the reason is, there are some fee changes that are happening. It says we will increase FBA outbound fee rates by 22 cents on average. They will reduce the returns processing by 20 cents on some. So if you're in apparel and shoes, you might actually get a reduction in some of your cost. But this article is pretty long, so I really suggest that you go into here and then click the other article that has all of the fee changes so you can see what affects your specific category. There's also some lower fees for the FBA new selection program and lower fees for small and light program. So it's not all fee increases that Amazon is announcing with this, but go in there to Seller Central and check your dashboard and find out if this affects you. The last article of the day is from Search Engine Land, and it's entitled Shopify is testing a new universal search feature. All right, so this is not universally rolled out yet, but it's kind of interesting. They call it the search for anything search box, and it enables you to search for items previously purchased or allows you to search for anything that any Shopify kind of merchant has available. Does that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound kind of like the Amazon experience, right? Like Amazon is a marketplace where there's tons of different sellers who use the platform, and you can search in Amazon for anything. Well, there are tons of Shopify sellers out there that are not connected to each other, but now in the potentially in the Shopify app, you can search all of those stores. Kind of like the Amazon experience, right? Or Walmart.com experience. Very interesting. So, this article says that it seems like Shopify may have changed its viewpoint on whether or not to become a marketplace, because with this search, they basically are becoming a marketplace. Now it's kind of too early to completely know for sure if that's the direction they're moving into, but it's something to definitely look at to see what might happen there. All right, that's it for the news this week. Let's go ahead and get into our next section here before we get into our training, and that's an interview with Vince and Liran. Go ahead, Vince.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vince Montero, and I've got a special guest with me here today who is actually visiting, and he's in our tequila room.
They locked me up in the tequila room for some reason. I don't know why.
How's it going, Liran? Tell us a little bit about your company and then who you are.
Sure. So Liran Hirschkorn, I'm the CEO and founder of Incrementum Digital, and we help brands scale their businesses on Amazon.
Perfect. What exciting trends are you really interested in right now that's happening within Amazon PPC?
So definitely we're seeing more video placements, sponsored brand top of search video, sponsored display video ads that are coming out, A/B testing that's going to come out. So definitely the trends there, and also more data, Amazon Marketing Stream, hourly data, and the Amazon Marketing Cloud, which will really allow you to follow the customer journey.
Yeah, they really talked about that a lot. And we were at, both of us were at Unboxed recently. What was something that you heard or you're excited about just maybe from Unboxed?
Yeah, so a couple things that are really interesting. One, seems like cookies are going away in general in the advertising, right? You heard about Facebook and iOS, that the challenges because of that and privacy. And Amazon, because they have first-party data, like Facebook doesn't have the data because they're not the platform that has the actual sales, right? Amazon does. And because of that, Amazon advertising is only going to grow and become more prominent, and sort of being able to leverage that and get involved in that early, I think is an opportunity. And also more video, A/B testing, sponsored display video. All these are things that are coming up, and very excited about the Amazon Marketing Cloud.
Yeah, me too. So much data that's coming out. We've implemented some new stuff in Atomic that we were recently announcing and launching, and we're actually coming up on the holidays here. Are you ready for the holidays?
I'm ready. Yes.
I'm not ready. What can you tell folks? Like, what's a PPC, 30-second PPC holiday tip that you can give people?
Sure. So conversions are going to be better during the holidays. So one, make sure obviously you're increasing your budgets. There's going to be a lot more traffic, and that you are prepared for the increasing conversions. I would say focus a lot on your creative. For PPC, sponsor brand custom image. Change your images to something that has a holiday feel, gifting, background, traffic to your storefront. Update your storefront if you can with a page for deals. Again, you can have holiday themed images, videos. You can even go to websites where you can get influencers to do some videos for you. Ask them to wrap the product in a gift and send it to them. Ask them to unwrap it as a gift. Put that video in your sponsor brand video ad. Put that in your storefront. So really use the creative side to increase. And we've done A/B testing on images last year that were either holiday themed versus not. And the holiday themed images did improve sales and conversion. So it does work. It's not just a tactic people talk about.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us on this week's Weekly Buzz. where can people get a hold of you?
So incrementumdigital.com is the website, and you can follow Incrementum Digital, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We also have a newsletter if you search under Incrementum Digital on LinkedIn, and myself, Liran Hirschgorn, across all social media as well.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Liran.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that timely tip, Liran. Our next section here is we're going to talk a little bit about a tool. I know a lot of you are Helium 10 users out there, but even if you're not a Helium 10 user, this is a tip that can help you analyze your competitors and even your own listing. It's very important that you use some form of this strategy, whether you use Helium 10 or not. Shivali, can you help us out with that, please?
Hey, it's Shivali. Whether you are a brand new seller or a seasoned seller, something you will definitely want to pay attention to are those top performing keywords that can help you generate sales. And if you've watched our other videos, you know that there are a number of ways that you can find those relevant converting keywords or phrases. But in this video, I want to show you how you can find all of those keywords and phrases for a product or a set of products with just one click. Let's get into it. If I checkmark this product right here, which is doing roughly $130,000 in revenue, and I just hit this one button, Run Listing Analyzer, within seconds, I'll be able to see the top keywords of where this listing is showing up for in the top 10 spaces. You don't have to wait for a few minutes to copy a bunch of ASINs on Amazon and then come to Helium 10 and then run Listing Analyzer after pasting those ASINs. You can just do it with a click of a button from inside of Xray. And while there are a lot of features that go into Listing Analyzer, I won't cover all of them here, so be sure to check out that video. But if I scroll down, you'll see that I am given access to that top keywords analysis section I was talking about. Here you have total keywords, which is how many keywords is this ASIN organically showing up for in the top 306 positions. You also have your top 10. So how many keywords does this ASIN show up for in the top 10 position? Then you have the associated search volume for both of these index types. But let me show you something cool. This is actually even more valuable if you are running it with multiple ASINs. So if I click Run Listing Analyzer after selecting 5 different taco stands that have a set of 4, you'll see that I'm given access to a similar looking page, but when I scroll down, this is drastically different. Now I have all of those ASINs side by side where I can compare how they are stacking up in terms of ranking for each of these top performing keywords. And of course, I still have access to that same information I did even on that single ASIN page. Another cool feature of having multiple ASINs in Listing Analyzer is you get this average listing quality score analysis. These guidelines are based on Amazon best practices. If you're taking a look at any individual rule, for example, main image is on a white background, this will tell you how many of the ASINs we've inputted have a terms of service compliant image. 2 ASINs actually do pass where they have their main image on a white background, but 3 of them do not. This compares to some of our other regulations, which right here, you have over 1,000 characters in description or A+ content. All 5 ASINs pass this guideline. This compares to the bullet points are not in all caps or contain icons. All 5 ASINs actually fail that. So this is automatically something you'd be able to go in and improve and hopefully have a better listing quality score for. The last thing I'll cover is our media comparison button. This shows up right next to the compare key metrics across ASINs section. And when I click it, what you will essentially see is a layout of your competitor's image strategy. This is important because when you're going into any niche, you want to take a look at what is working and what is not working. Maybe by taking a look and studying what your competitors are doing, you can get an understanding of what is actually working in the space, or maybe what is needed in this space. Something I can take a look at here is, for example, this one says create a photo-worthy meal because this taco stand is beautiful. I mean, that's an interesting take. You also have something that says very versatile. This isn't necessarily the best image copy. I think there's ways to tweak this to make it look even better. And then we have this oddly photoshopped image, right? You can obviously tell that this is not an authentic image. I can take from this that I definitely want to have a live shoot where I'm using real people so it doesn't look so fake. I encourage you to try this for your own listing and stack it up next to some of your competitors just to get a feel for how your images might be overlapping and what you could do differently. But also be sure to even use this if you are in the product research section of your Amazon journey, because you can still go in and take a look at, is there a way you can differentiate? Maybe you've already sourced your product and you just want to get a feel for what you want to tell the graphic designer. You can completely export this information and give it to your graphic designer so they know what to use or what not to use.
Thank you, Shefali, for that tip, guys. Make sure that you are using that, especially that media analysis one, because that is just so crucial to understanding your competitor's strategy in a certain niche, or the niche theme, as it were. Now, last up, I want you guys to register for this special webinar we'll be doing with Neil Patel. All right, Neil Patel is a giant in the industry for SEO and advertising, as you guys know. He spoke at Sell and Scale Summit. But we're going to be talking about some of his predictions for 2023, especially as it relates to things like live selling, something that has been huge overseas, for a while now, and now US is just kind of hopping on the bandwagon. And there's some other cool strategies that we'll be talking about that, e-commerce sellers of any level would find interesting. So if you want to register for this completely free webinar, go to h10.me/NP Digital. NP as in Neil Patel Digital. All right. h10.me/NP Digital. It's great to hear from a lot of the Amazon experts and Walmart experts in this space, but it's important to, to talk to people outside of our kind of small industry, relatively speaking here. And let's talk, to somebody who's an expert in other paid media and other forms of advertising that maybe we don't have experience in. So that's why we want to partner up with Neil to get this information out to you guys. So make sure to register. It'll be for December the 6th live. So I'd love to see you guys there. All right, guys, that's it for this week. We'll see you next week to see what's buzzing. Have a great Cyber 5 weekend of sales. Bye-bye now.